YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with Sprayer Splash Fragrance Reviews, back with another review. Today we're going to be talking about the new release from the house of 1821 ManMade Noble Oud. If you're interested in finding out more about this fragrance, please stay tuned. All right, for those that don't know, 1821 ManMade dropped a fragrance about 4 years ago called Sweet Tobacco. Got a little bit of hype in Fragcom, and it was a fragrance that I put in a few lists because I really enjoyed the fragrance. It had a great smell, and it was a very good performing fragrance. So in my feed about 2 weekends ago, I saw that they had a new fragrance that had just come out called Noble Oud, and I blind bought it on the spot, 86 bucks. Bought it, didn't look up any notes, didn't look at any reviews, just blind bought it. And then later that day I jumped on to kind of see what people were saying about the fragrance to kind of get a little bit of feedback. Okay, the first thing I saw was people complaining about performance, so it kind of like was a gut punch, like, oh crap, here we go. Okay, so I'm not gonna get into performance just yet. I'll talk about the way the fragrance smells. So this is what they have listed online as far as the notes for this fragrance. They've got bergamot, golden amber, ripe grapefruit, followed by lemon rind, cloverleaf, smoked oud, and then in the bottom it's got rosewood, vanilla flower, and musk. And they describe it as a complex masculine fragrance. I don't necessarily believe that this is a complex fragrance, but I do believe it's a very masculine smelling fragrance. So I've actually got a few different results from wearing this fragrance in regard to smell. The first few times I wore the fragrance, it actually went on nice and bright, very woody, and then the woody accord kind of turned into something that felt like a little more earthy and slightly damp. Then it smoothed out and became like this really just very appealing woody accord that it wasn't extremely woody, but it kind of it sat in a good sweet spot, and it was just a very enjoyable smell. Okay, the other times I've worn it, I've gotten a really bright grapefruit, almost rindy in the beginning, with a little bit of vanilla kind of sitting right behind that, with this nice, I don't want to say oud, but maybe like a oud accord with like this rosewood. Okay, and that kind of just smooths out eventually, and I get the same like pleasant base. This is a very linear fragrance, but it's kind of done a few different things when I put it on skin. They promote it as a fragrance that projects 10 to 12 hours. I believe it's either eau de parfum or parfum. I didn't experience 10 to 12 hours of projection. This fragrance was a fragrance when you first spray it on, it kind of feels like it's going to be big. But then within the first like 10, 15 minutes, it kind of comes in, and I don't want to say it's like a skin scent, but it sits kind of close to you. It's a fragrance that appears to have better sillage than it does projection. I also don't really see this as a cold weather fragrance, even though it's an oud fragrance. I see this more as being like a springtime fragrance. I see this as having like that sweet spot of like in the 60s, low 70s, because I do think you're gonna need that body heat to kind of like cause it to project more. What I did notice is that when I moved around, walked back and forth, and I walked outdoors, I could actually smell the fragrance like coming up off of my skin. So that made me think this might be a fragrance that's not for hot weather, but when it's warmer out. So I don't feel like I can give it like an accurate judgment just yet, because I don't think I've had the ideal conditions to really get the best, I guess, result from the fragrance. But I did feel like I got pretty good sillage from the fragrance, because I did smell it as I walked back and forth from my desk at work and walking around my apartment. I felt like I could smell a scent trail as I went here and there. So again, it is a good smelling fragrance. I don't have anything that smells exactly like it. The only thing I can really think of that this kinda reminds me of, and I say kinda, so please do not go there. It kinda reminds me of Royal Oud by Creed in a sense of the woody smell, where Royal Oud isn't like this deep, dark, oudy type fragrance. It's kind of light, very, very pleasant. It's kind of like that, but it doesn't have like the smokiness that I think is in Royal Oud. So that's the only thing I can say it reminds me of. I think it is a good smelling fragrance. Performance though is I can't say it's solid. I say it's got good sillage, but I'll be able to tell when it gets warmer if it's really got better projection. If I wear it in the spring and I feel like it projects a lot better when it's a little warmer outside, you will definitely see this in some lists coming up in the future. But I think for right now, I'll just say it's an okay pickup. I only paid $86 for it. You can get it from the the 1821 ManMade website. They've got this, and of course, they've got the sweet tobacco on that site. That's all I've got about the fragrance for right now, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you choose. I thank you for coming and checking out the video. I will talk to you later. Peace.